You're watching In the Line of Fire. I'm Reed Yaden. Louisville Metro has a new mayor with the coming of the new year. Greg Fisher taking over from longtime Mayor Jerry Abramson. Recently, this program's producer Josh Grimes talked with Mayor Fisher about his ideas and concerns when it comes to fire protection. Mayor Fisher first addressed the financial constraints most suburban districts are facing.
And Mayor Greg Fisher joins us now. Mayor, congratulations on your newly appointed position.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to start off, you understand the financial difficulties that the Jefferson County Fire Service is experiencing. As the incoming mayor, what can Metro government do to support the fire districts?
Well, the main thing we need to make sure we keep going on is the great cooperative relationship between Louisville Fire and the Suburban Fire as well. There's nothing more important to me as mayor than the safety of our citizens, so that's got to be the number one issue. We are facing tough times right now economically, and we're seeing that with some of the suburban fire districts that with station shutdowns, some brownouts, some things that could potentially be a problem for our citizens. So and unfortunately that's not the only area of economic challenges that we're having in our city right now. So one of the things I think that's important that we should do is launch an initiative that I call Merger 2.0. We're young as a merged city and county government now, just 7.5 years, 8 years when I take office. So any healthy organization, what they do is say, what's worked, what's not worked, what do we need to change? So I'm going to pull together the right people to take a look at that, including obviously the representatives of the suburban fire area and the city, and take a look at this along with EMS and some of the other challenges that we have for our city, for our county, and say what changes need to be made here so that we can make sure that everybody's safe.
Half of the fire departments runs our medical access in which no reimbursement is received. Linden, St. Matthews, and some of the other Easton fire departments are exploring the option and seeking Louisville Metro EMS's support in staffing an ambulance at their respective fire department. Do you have any thoughts on this idea?
Well, EMS runs are increasing. And fire seems to be decreasing a little bit as newer buildings obviously are safer than the older buildings are up there. And as we have an aging population, there's more and more EMS runs. So that dynamic is one of the issues that we'll need to take a look at with this Merger 2.0 as well. So I'd be hesitant to make a whole lot of changes to our current system until we as a community say what's the ideal system look like and make those changes system-wide.
And also right now there are efforts underway to revise Chapter 75 in order to remove the tax cap that was set in 1944. What is your thoughts, and is this something that your office could support the fire service with?
I mean, the overall issue here is that we've got costs that are increasing, whether they're pension costs, health insurance costs, and in the suburban area in particular, we have about 500 paid firefighters, about 500 volunteers as well. So we have an unsustainable situation from a cost basis, and the property tax issue is one of the ways to address that. Again, though, that kind of fits back into me with the Merger 2.0. Is this the direction that we want to go as a community? We need to step back and do some actuarial work to see where the growth is taking place in our county. And even if there was an increase, is that going to be enough to really satisfy what our needs are long term? So I'm going to avoid any type of piecemeal changes until we can quickly take a look at what our system-wide needs are.
Finally, do you have any thoughts about merging the urban and suburban fire districts together?
Well, I applaud the suburban fire districts. I know they're entering into a long-term planning discussion right now, so we can take a look at the public safety for the entire community. So the important thing is that we pull together all the affected parties, the leaders in these parties, all of our community, and we step back and say, what is the ideal system for protecting our citizens? That's the number one issue. It's not Louisville Fire, it's not suburban fire, it's what can we do best for the entire city, the entire county. So where those discussions will take will be a result of the Merger 2.0 process that obviously I'm holding out great hopes for, but it'll be a community dialogue about a lot of things, but the thing that's most important is the safety of our citizens, and I feel good that this process will lead us in the right direction.
Wonderful. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
Well, I just appreciate the great job that the firefighters do here in our city, both volunteer and paid, Louisville Fire as well. These are heroes for our city that put their lives on the line every day, And just speaking for all the citizens of Louisville, I want to say thank you.
Mayor Fisher, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
We'll look forward to hearing more of Mayor Fisher's ideas in the coming months. Now, fire prevention is a year-round effort for firefighters, but it's especially important in the colder months. In 2010, Jefferson County fire districts have responded to over 650 structure fires. Nationwide, most house fires begin in the kitchen. And here's a very interesting statistic. Every year, candles account for over 14,000 fires. Well, Sergeant James Hunley from the Worthington Fire District joins me now to talk about fire prevention. It's easier to prevent a fire than it is to put it out. Sergeant, let's talk about candles. Over 14,000 a year causing fires. What kind of mistakes are people making with candles?
Very common mistakes that we are seeing is where people are simply leaving candles burning in rooms that they're not in. So leaving candles unattended. We see people who have candles too close to fabric, like a sofa, chair, draperies, things of that type. And then unfortunately, one of the things that we also see is people leaving candles in rooms with children unattended. A child might knock the candle off onto the floor, catches the rug on fire, or something of that type.
Yeah,
so
and these are all fires that are easily preventable.
Easily preventable. It's just a matter of kind of thinking about something before you leave the room.
Wow. Now that it's colder, many people, of course, try alternative heat sources. They want to save money. What do we need to know? What areas do we really need to be careful about?
One of the items that we try to focus on as far as our education on that point, never use cooking appliances, hot plates, stoves, the oven to try and heat your home in the absence of a working furnace. Space heaters have become very common use in homes. There are many safe ones out on the market, but even though they come across as a safe space heater, make sure that you keep at least 3 feet, 36 inches from anything that's flammable, such as your wall, your sofa, again, your chairs, drapery, things of that type. Keep an eye on the cords that run those heaters. Make sure that they're not frayed, damaged, and one of the big things is also make sure that you don't use extension cords with those heaters.
Sergeant, what about some tips for adults with children in the home, especially where we're using different heating devices?
The biggest thing is education as far as those children go, making sure that they know that they're present, for one, to keep burns from taking place with the children, and let them know, be careful when you're around them, don't trip over them, stuff of that type, knock them over, causing fires.
I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about smoke detectors and a home escape plan. Give us that important information. I know we give it a lot, but I don't think we can give it too much.
I agree with you 100%. We advertise to the public, change your smoke detector batteries at least twice a year. Easiest way to remember when to change those is when you change your clock, change your battery. So the spring and the fall are the 2 times to do that. One of the other items that we always want to educate people on is their home escape plan. Make sure that the children are aware of the plan, that they've practiced the plan. They know of 2 ways out of every room in the home, whether it's an upstairs bedroom or a downstairs family room or a basement. And one of the biggest things is have that family meeting place, a safe distance away from the home where everyone in that family meets to assure that everybody's out of that structure.
So figure out ways out of the house, and then we all know where we're going to go, so that when we get out, we all go to the same place.
And practice it. That's the biggest thing. Make sure you practice it monthly.
Very good. Sergeant, some real good advice.
Thank you.
Next on In the Line of Fire, meet a longtime volunteer at the Harrods Creek Department.
Hi, I'm Mayor Jerry Abramson.
And I'm Kirby Adams.
With so many new cyclists on our city streets, everyone needs to share the road.
I've been hit twice by drivers while riding my bicycle. Treat a cyclist like any other vehicle on the road.
When you drive behind a bicycle, slow down. Wait until it's safe to pass on the left. Just like you would a car, make sure to leave 3 feet between your car and the cyclist.
And cyclists, you should move over if it's safe to let cars pass.
Together, we can keep our streets and roads safe.
For all of us.
Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation. There's no limit to what you can do. Visit your local community center to find programs for you and your family. Check out Metro Parks and Recreation at louisvilleky.gov to find the community center that best suits your needs. Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation. Your city, your parks.